In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the irrational view regarding monogamy, both from the traditional right-wing conservative standpoint and the irrational modern left-wing standpoint, represented perfectly by Ben Shapiro on the right and Scarlett Johansson on the left. Get ready for some fucking irrationality.
Alpha Male 2.0. Freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. We do 5 videos a week here on how to make both your business life and woman life more free, because you need both. If you subscribe to this channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment on this video, you will automatically be entered into the regular drawing for my online video course on how to create location-independent income, normally $1,400. We regularly announce the winners at the community feed at this channel.
So I'm going to analyze here a video that Ben Shapiro did not recently, but a few years ago, I think back in 2017, 2018, so not a super long time ago, where he is commenting on something that Scarlett Johansson said. And I'm going to, this will be fun, I'm going to examine both their comments. They are both demonstrative of how fundamentally irrational and psychotic human beings are regarding the concept of monogamy, particularly long-term monogamy. Nobody wants to think rationally about this. It's just too emotionally disturbing to do so. So no matter how intelligent these people are, they're going to sound like irrational maniacs, as I'm about to demonstrate. First, we have Ben Shapiro on the right. Ben Shapiro is considered to be the brainiac of the right, the smartest guy the right has. Okay, I mean, he is an intelligent person, yes, but watch what he says now about monogamy, whether or not monogamy works, or whether or not monogamy is a good idea. Oh boy, you're about to see through Ben Shapiro how someone very intelligent can be not only irrational, but irrational to the point of psychosis. Then on the other side, you're going to see Scarlett Johansson, who is going to say some things that a lot of women, modern, quote-unquote, left-wing women say about monogamy, and you're going to see what a psycho she is and what a hypocrite she is. This will be a lot of fun. Let's examine.
Scarlett Johansson, the actress, she has now come out and she says that monogamy is not a natural thing. She did an interview with Playboy in which she talked about how monogamy is not natural. She said, with every gain, there's a loss, right? So that's a loss. You have to choose a path. I think the idea of marriage is very romantic. It's a beautiful idea. The practice of it can be a very beautiful thing. I don't think it's natural to be a monogamous person. I might be skewered for that, but I think it's work. It's a lot of work.
Now, here's the deal. She's right. It is completely and utterly unnatural in terms of your core biology, your physical biology, and the way your brain is designed to be monogamous long term. So she is stating a fact, and it's a fact that Ben Shapiro can't deny. And to his credit, he won't deny it. You're about to see what he says. But here's the problem. This video was about 3 years ago. If you have followed Scarlett Johansson's personal life, what did she just do last year? She just got married. Again. Traditionally, monogamously married for the 3rd time. She's already gotten 2 divorces. By the time she was like 31, 32, she'd already been married twice, divorced twice. Neither of her marriages lasted longer than 3 years. So now, of course, she's going to do it a 3rd time, like a complete maniac, blowing away everything she just said about how monogamy isn't realistic, monogamy isn't natural. And she goes on to say, I don't know if he quotes it here in this video, but she goes on to say how it's probably really not for her. So everything she said, within 2 or 3 years later, she threw all of that out the window and immediately got monogamous again. So either she's stupid, or she's insane, or she's a goddamn hypocrite. One of those 3. I have seen a lot of people do this. A lot of people, women in particular, but some men too. Oh no, monogamy doesn't work. Oh, I don't want to have a boyfriend. Oh, I don't want to have kids. Oh, I'm never getting married because it doesn't work and it's silly. Why would I possibly do that? And you check in with these people within a few years, and guess what? They're fucking monogamous, and or married, and or have kids, doing exactly what they said to the world that they wouldn't do. This is part of the problem with this monogamy discussion, is that no one is an honest actor about this. We'll get to the right-wingers in a second when we address Ben Shapiro. But on the left, at least normal or modern people, No one is consistent about this. No one wants to be honest about this. I'm one of the few people I know. I said 14 years ago, I will never be monogamous. And there were a lot of guys back then in the pickup artist world that I came out of who said, oh, yeah, right. Caleb's full of shit. Caleb's a liar. Black Dragon's a liar. As soon as he falls in love with someone, he'll get monogamous. Well, that was 14 years ago. I'm still not monogamous. I am married, but I never said I wouldn't have an OLTR marriage. I said back in 2012 I would do that too. And I did that too. I am one of the few people that I know in the world who has been long-term consistent about this topic. Monogamy doesn't work, therefore I don't do it. And if you say monogamy doesn't work and it's not a good idea and it's unnatural, and you pronounce this to the world like so many people have done, she's not the only celebrity who's done this, but if you do that, and then a few years later, you backtrack on that entire thing and say, whoops, never mind, let's be monogamous, you're an idiot, or at least you're a hypocrite. She just married Colin Jost, that beta male from Saturday Night Live, one of the biggest beta males on planet Earth. Prior to that, she was married to some French guy for like 2 or 3 years. And prior to that, she was married to an alpha male, Ryan Reynolds. Now, unlike those two guys, who I believe are both alphas, Colin Jost, her new husband, is an extreme beta male. And when she gets divorced, and she will get divorced. I would bet anyone $50,000 of my own money that she will get divorced. I can't tell you when. I would guess sometime in the next 5 years, but I could be wrong, could be longer than that, but she will get divorced. And when she gets divorced, because monogamy isn't natural, which she knows and didn't act upon, she's going to destroy this guy's life. This guy's going to be in big trouble emotionally, because this is the best he's ever going to get. And he's going to be ruined just like Elon Musk got ruined when his hot girlfriend dumped him. So not only does monogamy not work, at least long-term monogamy, she knows it doesn't work. She proceeded anyway, and she's going to cause chaos in her life and mass chaos in his life regardless. All right, moving on.
Okay, that's true. So,
So Ben Shapiro, the genius of the right, the smartest guy the right has in terms of political pundits, his argument against monogamy not working because it's not natural is, so what? I've quoted him before saying this. So what? That's his argument. Now, he's about to state his argument further, but it's pretty much, so what?
Yeah, that's...
You see how tongue-tied he is? You see how uncomfortable he looks right now? This is what happens when conservatives defend things like monogamy or Jesus or Christianity. They're very confident when they talk about feminism and socialism and SJWs and look at those crazy Democrats. They're so confident, Ben Shapiro included. They're so strong about this stuff. But as soon as you bring up the topic of Jesus, traditional values, monogamy not working, facts and science and logic about that part, they immediately get uncomfortable when they get a little tongue-tied. Now, to be honest, to be fair to him, he's not nearly as bad as some other guys I've seen talk about this. Steven Crowder and other people on the internet who get really concerned and really weird about this, these conservatives. So he's not quite as bad. But you can see how uncharacteristically tongue-tied he is right now on this topic because he knows she's right. Long-term monogamy is not natural. It's not the way humans operate. Now he finds himself in the weird position to come up with some kind of argument against the fact that human beings were never designed to be long-term monogamous.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I don't know why this is some sort of revelation. Monogamous is not a natural thing. Monogamy is not a natural thing. First of all, it is more natural for men to be polygamous than for women to be polygamous. I mean, just biologically speaking, and that is because evolutionarily, it is, as they say in The King and I, man must be like honeybee, gathering all he can, right? I mean, evolutionarily speaking, the drive of men is to have sex with as many women as possible and therefore to propagate the species. The drive of women is to pick the best man possible in order to propagate the species, because if you have sex with some doofus, then your kids are also going to be doofy.
So, therefore, Ben, men shouldn't be monogamous, right? Therefore, Ben, based on the science you just accurately quoted, it would be stupid for a man to promise long-term sexual monogamy to any one woman, right? Because everything in his body, everything in his brain, everything in his biology, everything in his being is telling him to have sex with other women besides this one. So it would be stupid for a man to make that kind of long-term commitment to a woman, right, Ben? Isn't that correct? Let's see what he says.
That's just the way that it works in most of the animal kingdom. It also works that way in primates, and it works that way for human beings as well. But this idea that monogamy is not natural, and therefore what? Therefore what? Therefore marriage is not natural? Okay.
Pair bonding is natural. I've talked about this before. If you talk to biologists, they're very clear about this. Human beings are indeed biologically pair bonding creatures. We generally like to, and most of you are like this, I am certainly like this, we generally like to end up with one other person of the opposite gender for some kind of long-term relationship. Even if we are having sex with other people, that's not relevant. So we do like to pair bond. But the biologists will also tell you, much more quietly, because most of them are married and monogamous too, stupidly, that human beings are not biologically monogamous. So we have this weird condition in nature where human beings are biologically pair bonding creatures, but we are not biologically monogamous creatures, which means you are pair bonded to one person, but you have sex occasionally with other people. That's how you were designed. You were never designed to never have sex. I'm sorry you weren't. Sorry, MGTOWs, you weren't. You were never designed to have sex with one person for the next 47 years. You were never designed for that either. You were designed to pair bond with one person eventually, and then still have sex with other people. That's how this works. Let's see if Ben Shapiro endorses this very rational, scientific, logical system.
So it's not natural. Guess what? Lots of things that are natural, as we just saw, are not necessarily things that are phenomenal and we should brag about. Like,
again, do you see how hesitant he is about this? Do you ever see Ben Shapiro? Those of you who watch a lot of Ben Shapiro videos, I've seen a few. I've seen my fair share. Does he ever look this hesitant about talking about things? No, he just rattles off things really fast and very confidently, but he's pausing and stopping. He's so uncomfortable here because he knows what he's saying is bullshit.
Natural is natural, but natural does not mean good. Natural is just what it is.
What does that have to do with anything we're talking about? Some things are natural that are good. Some things are natural that are bad. Correct. How is that relevant at all to monogamy being unnatural, therefore a bad idea?
And so this idea that monogamy is not natural, therefore monogamy is something bad, lots of things are not natural. Civilization's not natural. Clothing's not natural. The cameras are not natural.
All right, let's go through that one at a time. Civilization is not natural. Well, I would argue that civilization is an outgrowth of tribalism, of grouping together in little collectives, and so that is natural. That's just an outgrowth of something natural. Yes, he said clothing is not natural. Well, I don't want to get into a big debate about this because I'm not a scientist and neither is he, but if you were a caveman and you didn't wear any bear skins and you walked outside in the cold, you would die. Therefore, nature, in a way, at least indirectly, required you to go murder some animal, chop off his skin, and put it over your body, either to protect yourself from the cold or protect yourself perhaps from the sun or predators or things like that. So clothes not being natural, I don't know. I mean, how long would you live if you never wore any clothes and went outside? That might be complicated, even if it was legal. He also said cameras are not natural. What does that have to do with anything? Let me give you the difference between cameras and monogamy. I have a camera. Okay, I'm recording this video with a camera. I have a camera over here. I got lots of cameras for my YouTube videos and various other functions. When I utilize my camera, it works pretty much 100% of the time. So whenever I turn that camera on and press record, it does what it is designed to do. It takes a moving picture of me with audio. Now, maybe that picture is out of focus. Maybe that picture has bad lighting. Maybe I fucked up the picture, but it does actually do what it is designed to do. Pretty much 100% of the time. Is that true with monogamy? Does monogamy end up 100% the way you want it? No. The failure rate for monogamy is not only high, it is sky high. The average boyfriend-girlfriend relationship has something like an 80, somewhere between 82 and 87% failure rate. Modern day marriage, I'm talking about modern day marriage in the Western world. I'm talking about in the 2020s in the Western world. I'm not talking about the 1800s. I'm not talking about India or Taiwan. I'm talking about the Western world. Has a real divorce rate of 76%, at least. It has a failure rate of at least 87% because most of the people who don't get divorced end up with bad marriages or end up cheating on each other and they stay with each other anyway, which means monogamy has failed. Monogamy has a horrible failure rate. Terrible failure rate. How can you possibly compare monogamy to something like a camera or a car? You can't. Matter of fact, let's go on with this comparison. When your camera doesn't work, does it destroy your life? Does it make you feel like shit for 6 months? Like when a woman dumps a guy or a woman divorces a man? Does it take your money for years and years and years and years after not working? Is that what a camera does when it doesn't work? No, if it doesn't work, you say fuck and you go buy a new camera. That's it. When monogamy doesn't work, you have fighting, screaming, arguments, hurt feelings, crying, depression. In many cases, you have child support. In some cases, you have alimony, paying half. That's whether or not you're legally married, but we're talking about monogamy here. You can be monogamous not being married. You have chaos when you have to move out of the house and you both got to sell this house you both own, and on and on and on and on and on and on. And Ben Shapiro is not stupid. He knows this. He knows he's making the stupidest comparisons on earth because he knows what the hypocrite Scarlett Johansson said is right. He has no arguments against this. He is just pissing in the wind here. He doesn't know what else to say. So he's saying, well, cameras aren't natural.
Houses are not natural.
Houses aren't natural. Again, nature didn't design you to live outside 24/7. It didn't. We require shelter. So indirectly, you could argue that shelter is something that is somewhat natural. Terrible, terrible comparison. And again, if he was sitting right here and I told him this, he would agree it was a terrible comparison. He's just trying to grasp at straws because he knows. He knows he has no argument against this. It's kind of pathetic.
If we got rid of all of those things, if we got rid of agriculture, which is also not natural, if we got rid of all those things, then we could go back to living in forests and sleeping with everybody and dying at 23. I think that doesn't seem pleasant.
So he is now bunching monogamy with all of modern day civilization. I'm going to say it again. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. I have not been sexually monogamous for 14 years. I am currently today married. Proudly so. I am married to the most wonderful woman in the world. We've been together for 6 years. We've been married for over 3. And I am still not monogamous. And it works. I know hundreds, and I mean this now, hundreds of people who are living a lifestyle where they are long-term pair bonded with something in a very serious arrangement, very serious relationship. Some of them are legally married. Some of them are not legally married. And they are not monogamous. And they are making it work just fine right now. As a matter of fact, and I realize I'm biased about this, but this is true, my heavy anecdotal experience in dealing with these people, knowing these people, talking to these people, is that most of these people have better marriages and less drama and more happiness than traditional monogamous living together couples or monogamous married couples. There's no question in my mind about that. This is what happens when conservatives get cornered. And they have no arguments against this stuff. They just pull these things out of their asses and they look like fucking morons. And Ben Shapiro isn't a moron. He's just talking like a moron because he has nothing else to say about it.
So I think what we should stick with the institutions of civilization is sort of the final case that I'm making here. Okay.
Now, what he's saying there, and what some conservatives may post comments on this video saying, is that, well, look, you need men and women to pair bond long-term for the good of society, to raise children. That is important for the family unit. Guess what? That is correct. That is where I agree with conservatives. I am not a left-winger, as most of you know. I am not a left-wing liberal. I have never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, and I never will. The conservatives are right. When a man and a woman are together, pair bonded long-term in a family unit, raising kids, and they're there together long-term, that is best for society. None of that requires sexual monogamy, you fucking conservative idiots. Just because you are married to a woman or live with a woman and raise children with that woman and you're together with that woman for 25 plus years does not mean you can never have sex with another woman. That is fucking stupid. These are two different things that have nothing to do with each other. You can be married and raise kids, and I've seen many men do this, and still get laid on the side. Obviously, there are precautions you need to take. Obviously, there's discussions you need to have. If you go to open-marriage.com, you'll see exactly how to do it. I have a book there on exactly how to structure this marriage and this type of relationship. It's not that difficult. Matter of fact, I would argue it's easier long-term to maintain a long-term, serious, non-monogamous marriage or relationship than it is to maintain a long-term monogamous marriage or relationship. If you want more information on how to do that, you can go to open-marriage.com, which is where I have that book, The Ultimate Open Marriage Manual, or you can go to joinsmic.com. That is my monthly audio training and mentorship program. In both those locations, we have a lot of resources there for you on how to construct relationships like this. But be aware that both the left and the right are insane about this. People do not want to consider this issue rationally. They want to backpedal back into their stupid, outdated philosophies in both cases, or be hypocrites in other cases, and just make a mockery of themselves. Long-term monogamy doesn't work. You can pair bond long-term with a woman without being long-term monogamous. See you in the next video. Bye.